Why is everyone quitting real estate? Folks, I don't know if you've heard it recently, but Graham Stephan is called the GOAT in the market. He's given up. He's selling stuff when it goes vacant. Ryan Pineda just announced the other day he's stopping WealthCon. His used to be once a quarter, then once a year, now never again scenario. And we have many folks in the real estate and mortgage business, somewhere of 50 to 60% have given up and quit. I know plenty of wholesalers who are printing money now quitting. I know flippers that are going broke because they can't sell anything. Why is everybody quitting real estate? Matt, you were here first. What's going on? What do you think of this? Why is everybody quitting?
Got hard, right, Mike? Got hard. It's not easy anymore. It's not like, I have a house for sale. Blah, 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 blah. I guess 74 bid. No, it's not like that anymore. No, it's not. So you have to be able to control costs. You have to be able to buy the property right. You're not buying, and you have to be able to finish quickly. Like most of these guys don't understand that time is one of the biggest things. Take it from a guy who's had a project drag for 2 years because of, silly things that I'd never encountered before.
Right.
That's fine. But my business was built and prepared to just kind of say, however long it takes, it takes. But yeah, I think the biggest thing now is it's gotten really hard. All of the people that have friends that are selling houses that were using those people to sell those houses, all those friend pools have dried up. All the relative pools, a lot of the referrals. Like if you're an elite guy, like a Brian Lebo, you're still loving life. Yeah. Things are still great. If you're, Beth Traverso, things are still good, but if you were a lower tier agent, kind of like the bottom 80%, right, you're feeling it. You're having a rough year and a lot of those people are the ones that are leaving.
Yeah, I think there's a lot there, but we got to bring in the contrarian. Somebody's likely going to smack both of us with going a completely different direction. Bring it, Dion. Yeah.
So the first thing is, I don't think some people are quitting real estate. I think they're outgrowing it.
All right. I can see that.
If you grow a community so large because you are really good at making content that helps people. Like personally, from 2017 to 2020, Graham Stephan was on my repeat 2-3 times a day.
No doubt.
Like his improved credit score, his frugality living, like all of the comments, all the points he made. He's so good at that. He's grown to millions of subscribers. There's other people that are just really good at making content and good at helping people with putting out what they have as information. If you can spend 10 hours making a 20-minute video, because that's how much effort goes into some of those videos that they do, and make a few $100,000, a rental is probably not as attractive as somebody who drives a truck, wears a badge, fixes people in a hospital, makes $70,000 to $200,000 a year. You can't go out and make a few $100,000 in 10 hours.
Yeah.
Put together a weekend event, make a bunch of money. You can't do those kind of things. So getting your financial freedom from the Coach Carson mentality of small and mighty, the way I went with, I want the right amount of cash flow from the least amount of units.
Yep.
So that's the first thing. That's the outgrowing it. The other thing, this is the contrarian view. I don't think flippers can quit real estate because they're not freaking in real estate.
That's right.
That's a job.
That's right.
They're not investors. They're working on things that is not evergreen investing.
That's right.
If your strategy requires an upmarket with downtrending interest rates or a really good team already in place, that's not real estate investing. That's a job. So the flippers, Matt nailed it. It's not easy now. You can't make a huge mistake, wait 3 months, let interest rates and rising prices fix your problems like you could for the last decade. And so now the flippers that are in place that have their systems, I don't think they're going anywhere. But the people that are trying, that are just jumping in right now going, I'm going to try flipping. Look at how great and easy it was for 10 years. They're going to fall flat on their face.
Yeah, it's funny when I think about, and I'll just talk about Graham and Ryan specifically because I know both of the guys and I consider both of them friends. So take this as the compliment it's intended to be. Graham Stephan's opportunity cost is creating YouTube content, right? Like you said, it takes him 8 to 12 hours for a single video. That's just how hard he works frame by frame, but then gets the return of 40 to 80,000 or whatever it is, right? A lot. And I think it's absolutely right. I think when he looks at his calendar or his time, his bandwidth, it absolutely makes sense for him to, operationalize around content. And that means any cycle spent elsewhere is a negative. So I think it makes complete sense for Graham Stephan to leave. But I will say, if you're watching this, you're not Graham Stephan. So don't get it twisted. Now, think about Ryan. Ryan's a unicorn, right? I've called him a unicorn to his face, right? And I mean it as a compliment, right? He just has this uncanny ability to have an idea, immediately switch that idea to execution, and just go. Now, some of those don't go anywhere and they fizzle out, but others just become monstrous success. I don't know if you guys have seen this, but he has a new thing, this golf mastermind. I think it's M19 or something like that. And I was with him the other day. It might have been 2 weeks ago or 10 days ago. And he said that it's very likely that this new mastermind, which is less than 3 months old, will be producing more revenue than anything he's ever done. Think about that. Anything he's ever done. So again, when you are a unicorn and you have the ability to spin something up like that, why would you go do real estate? It's not. And oh, by the way, you want to know where all his costs are? You want to know where all his employees are? It ain't an M19, right? He told me he's hired nobody for that.
Yeah.
Right now, I assume he's using resources from other things there, but he's added no new bodies. So again, it's like, yeah, I mean, I think there are some people who have a skill set or ability that they should go try to maximize. And that means real estate's not for them. But now let's stop talking about unicorns, kind of what Dion brought up, the truck drivers, policemen, software salespeople like Matt and I. We're not unicorns. We're just employees trying to get by, trying to keep our wives happy, our husbands happy. We're trying to keep a relationship with our kids, trying to stay healthy. Like, real estate's our only option. You're not going to retire on your income from a job. It's not going to happen, at least until you're 65 or 67. And if you watch my presentation at Bigger Pockets, not even then. The median net worth for a 65-year-old is like 143 grand. You're not retiring with 143 grand. I'm sorry. It's not going to work out well for you. So again, for most of us, it should be, to your point, both of your point, buy and hold real estate. Where I think most people went wrong, and I see this coming, dude. This is like my third cycle, right? I've got 25 years of being in this thing, and I've only done one thing, buy and hold, but I see it all the time. One is money it's called easy money. And again, you guys don't remember. I started buying in 2002. In 2005 and 2006, my market of Fresno, California, was the #1 appreciating market in the country, back-to-back years. Now, what would happen in that market is if that had happened, it would bring a lot of stupid money in, because again, if it happened twice, more people, like, some is good, more is better. And that happened. Guess what I did? I sold. And I scooped all that equity up because I knew this party was going to end thanks to Bruce Norris. But guess what? A lot of people didn't, and they lost their properties. Every house I sold at the peak was foreclosed on 2 years later because it didn't make sense. That happened again. It happened in multifamily. It happened in flipping. Folks, if you've been in the market, I think Matt said this, for 12 years, you've only known an up market. And then the last thing I'll say, and I'll throw it back to Matt, is why are people quitting? Because they didn't pivot. Hey, this worked for 3 years. It's got to work for the next 3 years. Not how real estate works. If you are a one-trick pony, you might catch the wave, but if you only have one trick, you are eventually going to crash, and crash hard. Matt, back to you.
Yeah, I think all that's accurate. I think that, when you look at a lot of the gurus, their methodology, if they're only doing it for a few years and now they're exiting it, that kind of tells you what they're seeing. That tells you what results they're getting, because no one sells a really profitable business or gets out of a really profitable business. No one does that. So to that point, I agree with you. I think that there's pivoting happening. I mean, certainly from a, Graham Stephan perspective, it makes less than no sense. He's got an amazing life that he's created for himself. Yep. And so I think that that's amazing. But I think that, honestly, you look at Grant Cardone, right? And there's always questions around him. Who knows what's true and who knows what's not, right? I found him to be very genuine when he was on your commercial or when on
Oh, I
your
thought
show.
so. Yeah,
I thought
so
he
as
was
well.
very genuine. I thought he was smart. I thought he was attentive. I see why people naturally like him. I see it.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
I would bet that he's different in person than he is
Oh.
shooting a video. You
You
know,
have, guys, I got to tell you, I just want to stop you there. Grant Cardone, one-on-one video, not recording, is one of the nicest people I've ever met.
I'm not shocked at all.
He's very gracious. I mean, again, I think I've told this story, but I'll tell it again because it just tells you who it was. Again, the video quality wasn't as great because he was at a hotel, right? It was a hotel Wi-Fi that was a problem. But this is how nice he was. When we got done with our video, StreamYard was having a very hard time downloading his side. And I needed his side download so I'd have the best quality, right? And I knew it was going to be a problem, so I needed that file.
Sure.
And he saw it, right? Because he does a lot of this stuff. And he's like, I got to keep this open, right? I'm like, yeah, unfortunately, Grant, I'm sorry. He goes, no problem. I got another meeting. I will leave my computer on. I will go to another room and do it from my phone. They're not, it's the only option we have because I don't have two computers. So he changed his day, his schedule for a technology issue that wasn't his, and it was his offer. He offered it. Like I was ready for it to go, oh shit, he's got to go. Right. And I got to tell you, I probably would have said, like if somebody was, recording me and I had another call, I probably would have bounced. I mean, I'm just being honest.
You would have. I know.
I would have.
You would have.
Yeah. It's like, well, it's 10 o'clock. I got to go.
Yeah, exactly.
And he didn't. He offered to keep it open. I'm like, wow.
We watch a lot of his content with his kids because we're raising our kids the same way. We don't necessarily have the same tax structure, but our kids are involved. Our kids are involved in the business. Our kids are involved in the business.
They're a little older.
They're a little older now, but he started them early, and so Sam is 7 now, but at 8, like even now he can tell people why we invest. He tells them what our responsibilities are. And so it's a lot of those things that's then building on those items. But yeah, I think if what's really interesting is that you see people that identify the trend and recognize what they can do is that they can insert themselves into the trend, create a bunch of value, and then they're more than happy to then pivot. And for us, we've made our life's work investing in real estate and helping you create financial freedom. So the good news is there's nothing for us to pivot out of. This still works. This still makes us a ton of the money. This still affords us all the adventures that all of us get to have in our lives. And it still affords us any other silly things like my buying baseball cards or Dion constantly talking about vacation in Thailand that someday will come true. But it's all of those things, right? And Mike, with being able to have a place in Vegas and do all the Vegas stuff that now you get to do in all your vacations. No one vacations like the Zubers. Nobody does. Well, that's not true. Kings and queens do.
Yeah, kings and queens might. Yeah.
but this is the opportunity where people need to understand. And this is what I like about it. If somebody wasn't doing it 4 years ago and is now doing it huge now, will they still be doing it 4 years from now? In all likelihood, probably not.
Probably, yeah.
Because they're probably grabbing a hold of a trend.
Yeah.
And so from our perspective, slow and steady wins the race. If that's what you believe in, if you believe that it takes work to create wealth and that you want to be doing the same thing and growing and having a better, more predictable business, then follow people that have done it for a long time that continue to do it and just further expand.
Yeah. Before I throw it to you, Dion, the one thing I'll say about everybody quitting, and I do think lots of people are quitting, some because they want to and some because they have to, is I love to see it. I can't tell you, I want less competition.
Yeah.
Right. All three of us were lucky enough to be able to get deals done in 2020 and 2021 because we had relationships in cash.
Yep.
A lot of newbies couldn't. Nope. Right. They just, they had to do a down payment or FHA. I mean, nobody would even look at an FHA or VA loan at that time.
It's true.
And, we did plenty of transactions and, frankly, even I love a slower market. I do not like to operate at that speed. I have, but it's not fun, right? It's a little more risky.
Yes.
So I love the fact that competition's going down. Dion, sorry. What do you got?
That's okay. I have two things. The first is you called Ryan Pineda a unicorn.
I
because
did.
he can create in 3 months an income that is more than anything else he's ever done. And I believe that all of us, every single person watching, and I'll use myself as an example. I'm not a unicorn.
I'm not a
super-
unicorn either.
Not a unicorn. I was an employee. I saved down payments and I bought rentals.
Mm-hmm.
I created an income that is more than anything else I've ever done. I have never had a job that made $21,000 take home ever, but I created it over a decade. So the difference between Ryan and us isn't that we can't do it. It's that his timeline can shift because of the skills that he has to do something like that faster. The rest of us pick a timeline that works, use a strategy that has that, like Matt said, get wealthy for sure, not get rich quick. And the second thing is that a lot of the people that look like they're quitting real estate, and I'll use the host of Bigger Pockets as an example, right? David Green, a police officer that worked as a waiter for a while, becomes a real estate investor. That's how you get on Bigger Pockets. You be a normal person with a regular job that's investing in real estate. Brandon Turner, Aberdeen, Washington, which is literally like the meth capital of the Pacific Northwest, a retirement town that is dying, buys 24 rentals. He was working at the ice cream place, like, singing for tips, and buys places to turn them into rentals. Then they get so big on social media. So that's who we see. We see the people who get a good, big, huge platform on social media. So Ryan is creating a new thing within 3 months that will generate a lot of income. But David Green became a lending company. Brandon Turner became a syndicator. The average viewer doesn't want to do those things. The average viewer wants to get started in real estate. So that's why there was a shift at BP. So it looks like they've left real estate. No, they grew something so big that they outgrew real estate. My goal is not to outgrow real estate. My goal was to outgrow the necessity to have a job with real estate.
And then
so
enjoy life.
It comes down to the person watching. What is your goal?
Yeah, I love that. Yeah, I love that. Again, there are unicorns in the world that should absolutely quit real estate and do something else. But again, it's back to that Ed Milet quote. I wish I could find that clip because I would throw it out there. 9% of us are entrepreneurs. 9% of us are Grahams and Ryans and Brandons and Davids. I was like, what's that guy's name? David Green of the world that can be entrepreneurs. 2 of us, myself and Dion, we're not entrepreneurs. We're employees. Matt is part of the 9%.
It's a problem.
It's a problem. But again, this is why Dion and I clicked. And it's like, guys, live below your means, get in the game. One, decide you're going to do it. And then 2 years, that's your story. You decided you were going to do it. And then it took 2 years before you did it. And then 2 years before 4 years to get to 2, but 10 years to get financially free. That's the beauty of this. And I think you're right. Ryan Pineda is a unicorn. He could do something in 90 days. It would take us a decade. But in the grand scheme of things, a decade's not that long. Right. And it is certain. So, Matt, back to you. Any kind of closing thoughts?
I mean, I think, again, look at when you go into a market like what we have now today, which is uncertainty, right? There's uncertainty. There's a lack of understanding. There's a lot of people selling big, expensive courses, that don't have a track record in down markets. Right. Look at the guys that were around in the down market. Look at the guys who've been doing this for over a decade, and have at least seen some capitulation in some of those markets over that time. Because in 19, it wasn't an awesome time. The end of 19 was not going very well. The beginning of the outbreak, things weren't going very well. And so all of us were creating strategies on how to manage our assets and do it in a way that we stay in business, because there's always defense and offense when it comes to running your business. So again, I think really the idea is demystify all the things that people talk about by learning from people that are doing those things on a daily basis, and put yourself in a much stronger position to create the off-ramp that everybody wants from the rat race. It takes time to construct that. But the good news is once you've constructed and you're able to go down that off-ramp, boy, I tell you, does it feel good. I had my round of calls last week with all my buddies that are still working.
I've done that.
So it's, I had 4 or 5 of them in the same day. And I was just like, man, that sounds like that. And the thing that I said to every single one of them was, man, that sounds like that sucks. And they're like, you have no idea. And I go, I got a little bit of an idea, but I don't have
Yeah,
to do it anymore.
I remember. Matt, where can they find you?
Thursday nights, 9 p.m. Eastern time on Lumberjack Landlord. We'll just answer all your questions, help you wherever you're at. You don't have to care what I'm doing. It's only about you guys. So what you have for questions, what you're stuck on, let me help you. I'm happy to do it.
Awesome. Dion, closing thoughts?
Matt, you make a really good point about how amazing it is to get off the off ramp and be financially free. This morning, I had a phone call with the president of the company that I used to work at because a friend's dad is looking for work, has a CDL, will make a great instructor. So I'm pairing them up to put them together. And the way the guy was explaining his day today to me made me think, oh my God, that world still exists. Why are people in it? It's like, sounds terrible. But the closing thoughts is most of us are okay with not being Ryan Pineda because we know that in 3 months, we're not going to create a multi-million-dollar income. What I'm sad about is that most of us don't realize how many 10-year periods pass where you don't create passive income because the decade's going to happen anyway, but it has already happened for a lot of us and they weren't taking action. So the goal is to get people to realize that if you wasted the last 10 years by working and not putting money to work, spend the next 10 years putting your money to work so you can have the rest of your life to have that early morning text with the guy that replaced you and then think, I might go back to sleep for a few hours.
Yeah, it's really, I'm glad you brought that up because again, I don't know if it's human nature. It probably is, but people see what Ryan Pineda and, again, the unicorn meant that. I mean that in the nicest way possible, can have an idea, start executing and produce something that dwarfs everything else in 90 days. People see that. And for whatever reason, a lot of people want to be that. Sorry, boys and girls, you're not Ryan Pineda. You're not a unicorn.
Right.
But you could still be a horse, right? You can still trudge along, right?
That's
all
right.
three of us, wealth over a decade. It's all like, this is the way for most of us. And then there's the 9%, that can go off and try to be, Ryan or Graham or David or Brandon. But there's nothing wrong with being the other 91%. There's still a way to get rich. Yeah. And we're all living examples of that. Dion, where can they find you?
On Amazon, Financial Freedom for the Lazy Person. I appreciate every review. I think I've given away about 15 books now to people who left 5-star reviews. So I roll the dice every week and I pick a new person. Some people have won more than once now. So I have to figure out a different way of doing it.
God damn it. I got to go write. Oh, I did write a review. Yeah, damn it. Haven't won yet. When do you go live?
Every Tuesday at 4 p.m. Pacific.
Awesome, guys. You're amazing. Take care. Thanks for doing what you do and leading by example. Peace.
Thanks, Mike.
Ciao.